Hello there and welcome to Six String Country's course on the guitar style of Brad Paisley, who is one of the most iconic country guitar pickers of our time. The course is going to take you through several different songs from Brad, and it's going to focus on the lead guitar, although the acoustic guitar parts are taught as well. But the lead guitar, in addition to the jam along videos, the sheet music, and the note-by-note instruction, we've enabled tab scroll technology for all of the lead work, which means that you're going to have the ability to have tabs that are synced up to the video, and it's very easy to loop, it's very easy to slow it down, and whenever you do these things to the video, the tab will still continue to scroll right along with the video. So we believe that the resources are here for you to be able to get your fingers on some of these great licks from Brad and start working them up the tempo. This course is a work in progress, and as time rolls on, we'll be adding more and more content to study the guitar style of Brad Paisley. Alright, and that is the solo from the outro of Mud on the Tires. Obviously a little on the advanced side from Brad Paisley, just some crazy cool original chicken picking country guitar work in here. So we're just going to take it from the top, we're going to learn it note by note, then at the end we're going to play it at full speed along with the metronome. So we've got the tabs fully tabbed out at sixstringcountry.com on the lessons page right beneath the video player. So pull those up and we'll just start from the beginning where we do this little intro to the solo. So we've got 10th fret of E, 8th fret of B, and the 7th fret of G. We're going to be using our pick, of course, but we're also going to be using our second finger and our third finger on our right hand to what I'm going to call cluck the string. So we've got cluck, cluck, pick, cluck, cluck, pick. And then we get to the first riff, which is... So that's open A string, then 5th fret of A with a full bend and some vibrato. Pick it 2 more times and come down. Then you've got this kind of pattern on the 3rd fret of the low E string. So that's just down, up, 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 down, up, 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 down, up, down, up. Continuing on, we'll have this riff next. So we're on the low E string, slide in from 4 to 5, mute, mute, then 3 to 4 on the A string, and then an upstroke on the 2nd fret of D, and then a little muted low A string, and then 1st fret is barred on the G and B string, slide into 2, low A string, and another slide in. So far we've got this. Now's when it gets fun. This is some really hard riffs coming up here, but it's worth it. The payoff is good, so we're going to do this. Let's learn just that much. So we're sliding in to the 4th fret of G and the 3rd fret of B from 1 fret below each. So we're going to cluck that and slide in. And then pinky finger goes up to the 5th fret of B, back to the G string, and then the 3rd fret of B, back to the G string, and then the 2nd fret of G. It's really a heavy vibrato, but it's kind of a half bend. And then we do this. So we're getting a left hand basically on a G bar chord shape, right here. So we've got ring finger on the 5th fret of the D string. We're going to pick that. Then we've got middle finger, 4th fret of G, which we'll cluck, and the 3rd fret of B, which we'll cluck. And we're going to kind of stagger it. So, and then hammer on to the 5th fret of B. Real fast, it sounds like this. So let's do that whole last set of runs. All right, then we've got, so that's 3rd fret of B, and then 2nd fret of G, pull off, 4th fret of D, and back to the open G string. Then we're going to continue with that kind of feel. That's the next riff. 2nd fret of D, pull off to open D, 4th fret of A, back to open D, and back to 4th fret of A. And then we're going to change feels a little bit. So let's play just that much from that A riff. And then we're changing to a triplet feel. So this next riff is one of the hardest in the song, and it looks like this. Closer to full tempo it would be. So a little bit of a hairy riff here, but it's super cool. The thing to remember is it's all the same feel. It's that triplet feel through the whole thing. So once we hit this 2nd fret of A, we're going to be using that same triplet feel. All right, so we're starting down here with our pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. We're going to pull off to open, 3rd fret of low E, back up to A, then 2nd fret, slide up to 4, then we can cluck this 5th fret of D, and then ring finger just happens to kind of be in place there at the 6th fret of A, so we're going to hit that, slide up to 9, and then we're kind of in the position 5 pentatonic in D, which is, so we start here, and so we slid up to 9, then we go to the 7th fret of D, hammer on to 9, hammer on to 11, then we got 7th fret of G, and then back down to the 9th fret of D, and then roll that over to the 9th fret of G, pull off to 7, hammer it back onto 9, 7th fret of B, hammer on to 8, and then slide up to the 10th fret. So let's take it nice and slow once. A little bit faster. That's going to be one where you're going to want to set the metronome and just run it over and over and over. This whole solo, this whole song is about 92 BPM. So when I started learning this and working it up to full speed, I started at about 50, 55, and then just, 3, 4 BPM at a time. Just slowly worked that one up to speed. So then we get to this next part of the solo, which is so that's not too bad. We've got 7th fret pulling off to 5 on high E, then we go down to the 7th fret of G, back up to 5th fret of high E, and then a full bend, and back down on the 7th fret of G. And then we got this little thing. So we slide up from 5 to 7 on the low E string, and then we've got 7th fret of D and G, back to low E, and back to D and G. Then move just the D and D string up 2 frets, and you've got that next little move. All right, so let's play everything we've learned so far nice and slow. Now we get to this really cool riff. All right, so we're squarely in position 5, pentatonic in the key of D. We've got 9th fret of G, 10th fret of B. We're gonna cluck both of those and then bend up the G string. Come back down, but don't mute that B string, let that ring open. 9, 8, 7 on A, and then go down to the 8th fret of B, and then with your ring finger on the 9th fret of G, a little bend. So one more time. Continuing on. All right, so we've got open A, 5th fret of B, 4th fret of G with a bend, back down, 4th fret of D, then 2nd fret of B, 4th fret of G, pull off the 2, bend on the 4th fret of D to open G. So far we've got this. Continuing on, we're going to do a quick pull off on the 2nd fret of G to open, then back to the 4th fret of D with a little bend and up to G. Then another open G string to the 4th fret of A to D, open. Then 4th fret of D with 2 pull-offs to 2nd fret to open. 4th fret, open D, open A string, open low E, 2nd fret with a bend. Might as well learn the ending here. It's 4th fret up to 5th fret on D, down to 4, back, and then this. So that's 2nd, hammer on to 4, pull off to open, 4th fret of A, and a half bend. All right, so from the bend riff, all right, and that's the whole solo. With a solo that's this hard, I usually take it in 2 steps. Number 1, I get my fingers on everything as slow as I need to. I just get my fingers on all the licks, and then I find as slow of a BPM that I need to play it right in tempo, which again for this is probably going to be real slow, about 50, 55 BPM. And then it's just a matter of taking the time to sit there with a metronome and working it up to full tempo, which is really hard with a solo like this from Bad Paisley, but it's totally worth it. Great payoff. Some really cool country chicken picking licks in here. So I'm going to turn on the metronome. We'll play through it now at full tempo. 1, 2, 3, go.